Hello, ladies and gentlebeards. Welcome to Banter Towers here at iBeard TV. Now, we've got one of our iBeard brothers with us today. He's a very skilled artist, real nice guy. You're going to obviously hear him and see some of his stuff in a minute. So, without further ado, let me introduce you to Will Rosie. Hello, Will. How are you doing, buddy?
I'm there. I'm on the camera. Hey, Carl. Thanks very much for inviting me to come on and be able to do a little bit of chit chat and banter with you. So yeah, this is me. Whatever you want to say, ask away, and let's see what happens.
Right. Thank you. Bit of background to why you got here. A couple of weeks ago, or a week or two ago, there was a post put up about what people do for hobbies or something like that in iBeardclub. And this young man put up a post that he makes mosaics. Now, if you kind of look behind him, you can sort of see some of his work there. But there's more to it than that. There's a bigger story to it, and we'll go into that in a little bit later, shall we say. But let's have a little chat to him first and see how we got into this world of the mosaics, mate. So, Will, what you got into making these mosaics?
Actually, I got sciatica. So I was working, suddenly got this horrendous back pain and leg pain, didn't know what was going on, was convinced I wasn't going to be able to walk again, and had to stop doing the job that I was doing. And I'm lying there at home thinking, what am I going to do for a job? Because we all think, well, if we get ill, we think, where's the money going to come from? And effectively what happened was I'd been doing some youth work and getting young people involved in a community garden. Okay. Building different, building ponds and doing all that kind of thing. And this community garden, they've been successful in getting a grant to be able to build large mosaics to go onto a wall in the garden. And they didn't know anyone who built mosaics. And they got in touch with me and they said, look, we don't know anyone. So I said, I'll project manage that. And then having not done a mosaic before, yeah. So I went on YouTube. Looked at some videos on how you build mosaics, phoned up some companies and said, how do you build mosaics? I want to do a community project. So they told me all the techniques that they knew. And then I just bought in all of the tiles and the materials in bulk and then ran it as a community training project. Because if it all went wrong, I could just say, you can't blame the community, they're trying their hardest. So, but as it was, the project went really well, and I discovered I had a natural affinity with working with these tiles. And then other organisations saw what I'd done, and they said, look, Will, if we apply for a grant as well, can you come in and work with young people with our organisation and produce mosaics, and it just kind of just took off from there. So it was a bit like solicitors, no win, no fee. If the grant didn't get written properly, I wouldn't get a job. So
yeah. But I mean, was you artistic before that? Was you into drawing, painting, or any such?
Yeah, I think I've always been artistic. I've always been the one who would rather be drawing my little pictures in my exercise books rather than doing my English or maths when I was at school. So definitely, I think art and music. I'm not particularly musical at all, and you just get really impressed when people are musical, and you think, how on earth do they do that? And I think it's the same with art, isn't it? When people aren't artistic, they think, how do they do that?
Yeah.
And yeah, so I've had a natural gift for doing art since I was younger, and this just happened to be the break that I needed to be able to take off.
Fantastic. So we can see you've got a mosaic behind you there, which is one of your designs, and you've sent me a few pictures of some of your stuff. So we'll have a look at this stuff first.
Proof. There you go. Proof that I actually did it.
Yeah, there we go. There, as you just said, proof that you actually did it. You can see you're working on you've done the tail feathers there, and you're working on its head. We can just about see that in the background, but I think I've got a better view of it here. If we'll bring this up so we can see the finished product, and there it is, in situ there, right behind you. What a beautiful piece that is. How long did it take?
On my dining room wall. So
fantastic. How long did it take you to make that?
Oh
roughly?
mate, it took so long. And the thing is, I built it in sections, so it's actually about 8 or 9 different sections. And what I do is I draw the whole thing out first of all, and then code it. So code all the different sections that
Right.
are, would be, and then once I've coded it, I then cover it in polythene, cover it in mesh. Well, actually, no. What I did was I cut it into sections. So I made some thicker lines, so I knew where to cut. Cut it into sections, and then I build each section at a time on
Yeah.
the table, and then put them all together, and then yeah, glue it all onto a big board, and then once it's dry, grout it, and that's what that picture was of me. That's why it looked a lot darker, is because I'm
Ah,
covering the whole thing in grout,
in,
and I'm getting the grout into the between the tiles. So
right. I get you. It's a really nice piece of work. We'll just throw a couple up here now as we go along. We've got this one. So I do like this. Might be a bit scared for some. That's just. Is that the full image? Is it the head of the snake, or have we got the full snake?
no, the whole that's just one tiny bit of the full image is basically a snake coiled round itself at the bottom, and then you've got a frog and I think a newt as well, because that's part of a community project that I did on a new housing development, which is right next to some woods. So those are the kind of they were looking at what kind of wildlife do we
Oh
get
yeah.
around our area. So
Right.
that's one bit of one panel, and then there's another 7 panels as well that were all out there on the building.
Yeah, we'll go into that more, and that's kind of the main reason. Very skillful, but the main reason I kind of brought you in is because of your kind of the work that you're doing in the community and with the community, like you just said for that snake one. But I want to show people a few other stuff, just kind of show you off a little bit. So you've actually been on TV as well with what's his name?
Peter Andre.
Peter Andre, that's the guy. What's it called? 60 second. That's a
Yeah.
fast mosaic in 60 seconds. 60-minute makeover.
Yeah, 60-minute makeover. Yeah, and it's unfortunate. Peter's decided not to grow a beard, but we can't really judge him for that.
No.
I'm sure there's other things that we can do that for instead. But yeah, got a phone call from ITV, and they said, look, we've seen your work. Can you do a mosaic? So yeah, it was fantastic. It was a fun time doing that.
Yeah, was it good? Good.
Yeah.
Um, and then here's this one. I do like this one. This Rhino. There's a story behind who bought this as well in the end. So did you just make this as a project for yourself, or was this another commission piece?
No, no. So what this is one rhino out of something like 36 rhinos that got they were there was a project running in Southampton, and they do these projects all over the place. I mean, it's an international thing by a company called Wild and Art. And what they do is they partner with a local organisation, and they say, well, what animal do you want to produce and have decorated and stood
Oh,
around your city as like an
oh
outdoor
yeah.
art gallery. So, in regards to Southampton, we've got Marwell Zoo, and Marwell have got the sort of like they've got I think it's black rhinos or something like that, really endangered species. So this is
Yeah.
based on one of the rhinos that they've got. There's a company that makes a fiberglass model. And then what they do is they put a call out to artists and a call out to
Yeah.
businesses, and they say, businesses, would you sponsor an artist to be able to produce this, a design? So most people paint them, and my
Hmm.
my design was one of the winning designs, and I tiled mine instead. So it got tiled. They sit on the streets for the summer. People go around trying to
Yeah.
find them, and then afterwards they all get auctioned off, and all of the money goes to charity. And mine got auctioned off. I didn't even realise I was actually sat behind him at the auction. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
but this guy in front of me kept bidding for my rhino, and I was like, "Yeah, go on, mate, go on, go on." And he kept, and he was bidding, and then when he won it, they said, "Right, and just want to say thank you very much to John Edwards, the bass player of Status Quo, for buying this rhino." So I'm there going, "Oh
Hey.
my word, I'm sat behind Space Bear Status Quo and he's bought my rhino." So that was it. So we went outside, went and had a drink with him at the bar, and then we went outside and we're just having a chat with him and his wife. Just instant hit it off with him. It's really good.
Yeah.
And now I pop up to see him kind of like once a year, do a little bit, yeah, have lunch with him. But often I'll need to fix Alan. He's named it Alan. So
Uh-huh.
so Alan the rhino needs a little bit of TLC. So
Oh,
I'll
bet.
pop up and do that. But it's great. Yeah, I've sold work to really famous people.
Rock on, buddy. Rock on. Fantastic. Well, so not only are you an incredible artist and you've met extremely famous people, but you also are or were in the Guinness Book of Records. Let me bring this up here. If you could tell us all about what's going on in this picture.
Okay, yeah.
There we
By
go.
all means, cover my face with it. It's better for people who are watching to be able to see the image than me anyway. But effectively, what you're looking at is a panoramic photo, which is why my son is in it twice. So he held when I started the panoramic shot, he stood at one side, and then he ran around the back of me, holding the Guinness World Record certificate, and stood on the other side of me. So he's in it twice. But what you're effectively looking at is 140 square meters of coins. So, and the vast majority are twos and ones, fives and tens, but there's also some foreign coins in there and some
Ah,
pound coins. But we spent a good month or so at it was Old Mutual Wealth at the time, but then now they've rebranded to Quilter. But this was their rebranding kind of thing. They wanted to be able to rebrand with a bang, and so they said, could I come in and build them the Guinness World Record? And I said, yeah, no problem. And as it was quite a doddle actually. It was great. So unfortunately, I didn't actually hold the record. They were paying me to do the record for them. But in my
ah.
mind, I know that I did the record.
Well, of
So
course you did, yeah.
it's mine.
Yeah. They commissioned you for the record, but of course it's your record. I don't think anyone would take that from you. But I mean, looking at the colours, like if you look at where it says 22nd of September,
Yeah.
and then the kind of the block like that's in there, very shiny copper coins, and then the ones on the
Yeah.
outside are kind of all different colours. So did you have to polish them up as well as you're going, or were they all in there?
No, it was one of those things where you kind of like you made it up as you went along. So first of all, I was just trying to acquire some coins from banks, going in there and just basically taking whatever twos and ones they've got. But we realised very quickly we weren't going to be able to have, it would take forever
Yeah.
to be able to get that amount of coins. So all the darker ones, they're tarnished ones. They've been in circulation for quite a while. All the shiny ones basically came straight from the mint, realistically. So
Ah.
they've been freshly minted, so they've not been touched. So there's no grease or grime from hands or anything like that. So they're absolutely brand new coins.
Wow. Fantastic. And what about them? I mean, they look like in the shamrock. Are they green or blue coins, or is it just the angle on that?
Yeah, they kind of look a little bit bluish, and I think that's because you've got light bouncing off of different surfaces. But they're actually silver coins, so that's fives and tens that
Right.
are in that central design, which looks like a shamrock. It's actually three anchors. That's the logo for Old Mutual Wealth.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. Yeah. Brilliant. I mean, so you must have drawn out what you was going to do beforehand. You obviously didn't just turn up and start sticking them down there. You had the design
Yeah,
ready.
I spent a couple of days. Spent a couple of days putting down hardwood. So I put down hardboard first of all, then covered it in we got massive rolls of like A0 paper for printers, like 100-meter rolls or whatever. Rolled it out, stuck them down, and then I spent a good while drawing out the design itself so that we could. It was good. So the thing is, it's like most things, isn't it? It's 95% preparation and then 5%,
Yeah.
of the action. So that's what we did.
But I mean, you've got. I'm saying that you say you've got sciatica. That can't be good for your back. Bent over, sticking all them on the floor. Bent over.
Yeah,
that.
you're right.
It's not.
You're absolutely right, Carl.
Oh.
Not at all.
So you suffer for your art. That's what you're trying to tell me.
Yeah, well, I think life is full of suffering, isn't it? It's one of those things, and we can either allow our suffering to overwhelm us, or we can allow it to direct us in a new path and in a new chapter in our lives. So for me, my sciatica, it's pain. Sometimes I'll cry with the pain of it.
Wow.
My standard of life is generally pretty good, and I can complain. I mean, I could complain if I wanted to.
Yeah.
But what's the point? I'll just run myself down. So
Well, who knew this was going to turn into a kind of positivity talk as well? Then, so we're getting the full works with Will here today.
Yeah.
But this one, I do like this one. You can tell me more about this. Obviously, you can tell what it is from there. The pilgrim.
Oh yeah, that's
Quadcentenary from 400. Where's this place one now then?
Okay, well, as far as I know, it's still in what's called the Marlin Shopping Centre, which is in the centre of Southampton. Okay, so I think this is kind of like this piece is the culmination of some other work that I did. So effectively, this was commissioned by the mayor of Southampton. So I think what had happened was I've been sticking illegal mosaics around the city, like just putting Mr. Men mosaics. I know you're going to cover this in a bit.
Yeah.
Sticking them up all over the city, and at one time I went to a community event. And the mayor was there, and so I just went up to him with my phone with some photographs of these Mr. Men. I went, "Wait, Peter, what do you think? What do you think of these Mr. Men I've been sticking up all over the place?" And he just looked at me and he said, "Go away and make me a Mr. Mayor." So I went. So that's exactly what I did. I went away. He commissioned me to make this Mr. Mayor for him, and then on the back of that, he said, "That's brilliant, Will. Thanks for that. Now I've got some money in my mayor's budget. We're coming up to the Pilgrim Quadricentenary. You know, the Mayflower left from Southampton. The story is based in Southampton. I know it had a bit of a pit stop in Plymouth, but that was an accident. And then it obviously went off to the New World at the time.
Yeah.
So he said, "I've got this budget. Can you build me something to celebrate the 400th anniversary?" So I based it on in 1920 there were a series of stamps that were released to celebrate the sailing of the Mayflower.
Right.
What I did was I went to those stamps and I've copied the design of the stamp, and then what I've done is you've got the stamp border to it and 400s. It looks like a stamp, And then I put an image of the Mayflower in the middle. That's the walls in Southampton, which would have been right up to the water side at the time. And you've got the Southampton roses running down the side of it, which is Yorkshire and Lancashire. I don't know how we adopted the War of the Roses, but white and red roses are now a part of Southampton. So there we go.
I can't believe, like you said, you just discovered it one day for a kind of community project. This skill is fantastic. Right, so you've already mentioned it now. You jumped the gun for me, shall we say. Spoiled me surprise. No, but so what I was going to do, I was going to say you're also known as a guerrilla mosaicist. What's the term for that? Is it a mosaicist?
I don't know. I'm not even a professional. Just whatever word. We'll go with whatever you say. You know, as long as I'm getting paid for doing stuff, I don't care.
Well, I think that kind of the fact that you're getting paid for it deems you a professional, because there's an exchange. So I would say you are a professional at it now. And looking at your work, I don't think anyone could deny it. I suppose would you be able to teach it? Do you think you've got the skills to teach somebody now as well?
Yeah, no problem. Yeah.
Well, that's what I reckon. That's what makes it. You're professional in our eyes, anyway, mate. So
I'll go with that. I'll take it then.
But so let's go with you're a guerrilla mosaic artist. That'll do there. Why have I termed you a guerrilla mosaic artist, mate? Can you explain that to live viewers, please?
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I didn't even know I was a guerrilla artist. Somebody called me a guerrilla artist, but I suppose the idea around guerrilla art is somebody just decided to go out and do a piece of artwork under the cover of darkness, or whatever. They're not supposed to be doing it, but they just go out and that's their mission, and they just do it under the radar, and boom, they'll do that. So that's what I understand the term guerrilla to be. Not official. Just.
No. It's like say, you're probably fed up with that term, but I'll say it now to this lot as well, because that's what I'm sure that's how they'll see it. You're the Banksy of the mosaic world, aren't you? You go around to places. I'm brightening them up a bit, sticking at some nice images like this one we've got here, Mr. Lazy, in various places around town. Like sometimes there may not have been permission allowed there, shall we say, but you brighten it up anyway. And then obviously people began to notice. We've got a few more. So were these all part of you just went out and found nice places to stick all these images? Or would Let me go. These are the Mr. Men ones. I'm a bit gutted actually, because you've got a project going at the minute with the doctor's surgery, where you're doing the kind of Doctor Who, the doctors as Mr. Men, and I'm putting them on doctor's surgeries, aren't you? And I've not got any images to show you. But you've been a good boy there, because you've had permission, obviously, from these different surgeries to put them up. So basically, what he's been doing, folks, is like say going around to different parts of Southampton, finding a spot where thinking, a mosaic could look really good there, and then just sticking them up. And what's happened is, um, naturally, it's kind of, it's got out there. People have seen them. People started photographing them, and it's become kind of a bit of I suppose a tourist attraction now. When you say in the area, people are going around trying to find them. You can follow it on a map and get photographs of there. Like some of them have even been turned into Pokestops. I'm sure people are aware of this thing where you go around with your geocache thing, whatever it is, and collect these Pokemon. And the Mr. Men have been turned into Pokestops like this. And it's not just kind of little tile mosaics as well. You've done things like, well, it's still mosaics, but you've done images. And this is one of my favourite ones, actually, just because I think it's kind of cute. This, and I call it a cornerstone. I don't actually know what it is, a corner plinth thing. This little this little character there, and I do think that's kind of a cute one. I don't know, what is that? Is it just a bollard? Is it a parking bollard or what? I don't know.
Yeah, so that's one bollard, a series of like 20 on each side of the road. They're basically to stop people parking up on the curb. So,
Yeah.
And this is how I first started. That's probably one of the first pieces of guerrilla art that I did, because I started doing these eyes from emojis. And then when I went down to, it's an area in Southampton called St Mary's, quite near to where our football stadium is. And I saw those little balls, and I thought they just look like emojis without eyes. So why don't I put a set of eyes on them? And that's exactly what It's one of my favourites. It's really simple idea, but very 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 cute.
It is very cute.
He's lost one of his eyes now, so what I need to do is I need to go away, and I'm thinking of replacing the eye, but making one like look a little bit swollen and bloodshot.
Oh, as if he's got. Oh, bless him. Yeah, that's good fun. That. And well, we said you've met a few famous people, but you've also worked with some big companies, and we've done banks. But you actually got a trip to Rome, didn't you? One day.
That's right. Yeah. I mean, do you want me to talk about that project?
Sure, go for it, mate. I mean, there's the image there now. I've stuck it up there.
Okay.
There was a bit of a story behind it. I don't think your wife was very happy with this one because it kind of ruined your holiday as well, didn't it?
Well, it kind of. It was one of those sort of like good news, bad news stories.
Yeah.
Effectively, I'd taken on because I'd become so popular and so and people were in demand for my work. I took on a load of contracts, and my wife said to me one day, "Please, Will, don't take on any more contracts that have a September deadline because it's doing my head in." She had loads of stuff going on. I think she was studying for a degree at the time, so there was just like loads and loads of stuff going on. So I went, "All right, okay, I won't." Now, in the meantime, about a year or two before, I'd been to a little place called Lymington, which is quite a rich, kind of like affluent town in Hampshire. Okay. And I thought, well, okay, what I'll do is if I could display some work there, maybe I can hook a few more clients. So I went and visited a tiling store there, a tiling shop, and went and saw the bloke, showed him my work, and I said, look, I'd love to be able to display something here. And he said, oh, I love it. I'll tell you what, I will clear out the front window of my shop. You can display your work there, and I just need business cards, portfolios, that kind of thing. I thought, wow, that's amazing. If you don't ask, you don't get. Yeah. So there you go. That's a hint for you. Take every opportunity. So I left it there, and I didn't do anything with it. And then suddenly, like a couple of years later, I'm like, oh, I might as well move that thing because I've not had any bites from it. No work's come in. And literally that day, I got a phone call, and it was a guy who said, "Hi, this is David Manley from Disney." And I'm like, "What, the Disney?" And he was like, "Yeah, the Disney." I'm like, "Okay, fine. Why are you phoning me?" So he said, "Seen your work," and I'm thinking, where has Disney seen my work? That's ridiculous, right? So seen your work, and I've got a project needs to be done, and I saw you work in Lymington, and I love the flow and the word is what's the word? Can't think of the word at the moment, but there's a word to describe the flow, and andamente. That's it. Andamente is the flow and the form of tiles. So we're giving it movement and everything. So he said, I saw that and I like what you did. I've got 7 panels that need to be built. The catch is I need them built by the 5th of September at the latest.
There's that date.
I need them built, and I need you to ship them out to Rome, and then I need you to fly out to Rome and install them. And I'm like, all right, okay. He goes, I need a quote by the end of the day. Can you do that? I'm like, yeah, no worries. So I went away, thought of the price that I'd normally charge, doubled it, and then added a 0 and sent it off.
Yeah.
Like, you take up loads of money.
Of course, yeah.
Sent that off to I think because and the reason that I sent it off to him, and he got back to me and he said, "Why is it so expensive?" He said, I said, "Well, because I've already ordered all the stuff. I need the stuff to be at my house by the end of this week because I'm going to Ireland for 2 weeks. I need to take all of the stuff with me to Ireland and spend my family holiday building your panels so I can then get them out to Rome. So that's why it's more expensive." So he's because at the back of my mind it was like, right, well, if he says yes, it's worth me ruining my holiday for and earning a load of money. And if he says no, that's all right. I just enjoy my Irish holiday. As it was, he said yes. And that was it. So my wife came in and I said, do you want the good news or the bad news? And she went, "The bad news." And I said, "Okay. Well, I've taken on another project with a September deadline." And she went, "Okay. What's the good news?" And I went, "Well, it's for Disney. I'm earning a lot of money and I need to go and install these things in Rome." And she went, "We're going to Rome."
Yeah.
And that was it. So whilst we didn't have much of an Irish holiday that year, but we did get to spend an amazing week in Rome as well. And did I think it was like a long day's worth of work, and the rest of the time just eating pizza and visiting all the sites.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure your wife was. I mean, was she there helping you install it, or was she off enjoying Rome while you was busy working?
No, she was a two-person job, so she was there to help out. She gets very involved in the project. She's not particularly artistic, but because it's a bit like tiling by numbers, if I'm directing her where tiles need to go, she'll knock it out. And she's very, very precise with her cutting as well. So whilst the overall vision needs to come from me, her tiling is really, really good in regards to cutting and placement. So we work well.
1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 there. You said 7. Is it the top of the thing as well?
No. There's 5 on the cash desk because they sent me through the designs. I didn't even need to design the thing. You can see Mickey Mouse's head is right in the middle of those designs as well. So in the window of the store, on the back of these 2 display cabinets facing out into the street, are 2 mosaics as well. Again, very similar to the Mickey Mouse's head.
Right.
So that was where the other 2 panels were.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Yeah, so if you ever go to Rome and you want to be able to see my work, pop into the Disney store on the Via del Corso, and they're in there.
We'll do that. I'll go and say I know the guy who made that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fantastic stuff, mate. And I think there's one that we'll show for the group. I'll just show this one up as well, because you not only just been sticking things near street signs, you've actually done a street sign as well.
Yeah, that was. Again, I went on Facebook and I said, "Has anybody got a pneumatic drill I can borrow? Because I want to take a road sign out." Right, and I had loads of people going, "Will, you can't just take road signs out. They belong to the." And I'm like, "No, it's fine because I'm going to fill the holes with some tarmac, so there's no trip or slip hazard." And they're like, "No, Will, it's not that."
Yeah.
The proper wind up on I'd already got council permission for this anyway. Yeah. So I was so I played along with it. And then the next minute there's a photograph of me holding a pneumatic drill and with the sign clearly on the floor behind me. And what I'd done is I'd gone to the council and I said, "Look, you've got this ugly sign in front of my new wall. Can I take it out and replace it in tile on the wall with some of my work?" Now the council officer or the councillor that I went to, she knows my work. She's very supportive. Jackie Raymond, her name is, and I just went to her and said, "Jackie, look, you know what I do? Can I do this project?" So she went and lent on highways, and they were like, "Well, it doesn't fit all of our protocols and specs, but I suppose it's the kind of project we need to say yes to." So she kind of like went, "Yes, you'll be doing that," and that was it. So then what I did was I put a photograph of the finished one, but I photoshopped it and put the S and the T the wrong way round, so it looked like I'd spelled it as Chestnut Road instead of Chestnut, and people were like laughing, going, "You spelled it wrong." And then I put the proper one up and said, "No, not really. I've just taken the joke even further." So now I don't have any friends on Facebook at all.
Just destroyed all your friends along the way.
That's it. Yeah.
Fantastic stuff. Let's look. You did this one as well. This is a nice little piece, a little Jurassic piece, shall we say? I'll expand this a bit more because we can't really see it there.
This is brilliant. There was while I'm so I built it. That's a mate's wall. He lives on the other side of the road, and I thought, I thought it's his wall. Turns out it's the neighbour's wall, but there we go. It's It's guerrilla art, isn't it? So I went and glued the mosaic to the wall. So once I've adhered it to the wall, I then need to let it dry a little bit and then put some grout over it. So I basically covered it with grout, pushed the grout into all of that, and then leave it for a little while. And then once the grout started setting off, I can then start washing it down to get rid of the excess grout off the top and expose the fossil. So I'm there doing that, and this guy comes past from the pub, absolutely smashed, right? And he's like, mate, how did you do that? And I went, well, okay, it's a mosaic. I put it on mesh, and I built the design and then put it onto the wall. He's like, no, mate. How did you know that was in that stone?
How did you find a real dinosaur in it?
So I'm looking at my mate, and my mate's trying to keep a straight face. And I tried explaining to this guy 3 or 4 times that it wasn't actually and he was having none of it. And in the end, I just simply had to say, well, when you've been doing this as long as I have, you just look at a stone and you know it's in there. And he went, flipping excellent, mate, fair play.
He's probably gone around. Have you seen that house number 53? It's got the dinosaur fossil on the wall outside. Whatever. Yeah. And last one, mate. We've got to finish as we're talking through the iBeardclub beard group. Let's have a look at this one. That's one they all want to see. Not really, but
oh yeah. Very simple but very effective. So this piece here, clearly it's a moustache. All right, I'm sorry there's no beards included on this, but
we'll let you off this one.
So what I decided to do with Movember, I built this as a free piece and said, right, I'm going to auction this off, and the highest bidder they'll win the mosaic, and then all of the money made will go to charity. We'll go to the Movember charity.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a barber down in Bristol. He won that. And so if you're in Bristol and you ever see that displayed in a barber shop, then that is that. I did that, and the guy who bought it basically donated. I don't know, it was like £100 or something that basically went to Movember. But yeah, it was good. It was a fun little project. And again, it just goes to show that mosaics don't need to be really, really detailed to be effective.
No.
You can actually do striking work.
Yeah, it does have a striking effect. It's got that Victorian feel to it, I think.
Absolutely, yeah.
It looks fantastic. I mean, a lot of the stuff you've done, like I said, this is what's really good about it. It's just been a community project for no other reason than just to put a smile on people's faces, really. I mean, I remember you told me the story about there was a little kid who wanted to. Sorry, no, was it? Well, there's 2 stories. One of a little kid and one, I think it was a woman who had a back operation and she wanted to make a journey to one of your.
Do you want me to talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, that'd be brilliant, mate.
Yeah, so in regards to the Mr. Men mosaics, I just decided to start putting them because they're very cool, well-known, iconic pieces of art that we've all grown up with. Everyone in England's grown up with the Mr. Men.
Everyone loves the Mr. Men.
Yeah, absolutely. So I put Mr. Fussy. You showed him earlier. I put Mr. Fussy over on one side of the city, and he's actually, when you look at him, I put him slightly at an angle on the wall to annoy people, so it just drives people's OCD.
Ah, yeah, so you can see the line of the wall
Fussy,
now.
Yeah. That's my wife's evil genius there.
Yeah.
Mr. Fussy. Put him at an angle. So I put him on this wall. I got a message on my Instagram. Got a message from this woman saying that her mum had some quite intensive spinal surgery and was trying to get her mobility back up again after the operation. She said, "You've put a mosaic at the end of our road," and my mum has said that's her goal, to be able to get there and to be able to get there, to be able to see the Mr. Man mosaic. And she did it. She managed to get on to the next one as well, which has been really good. But then also, it goes from, so you got older people who are appreciating it, but then you got little kids who love it as well. There's a little lad called River who his mum got in touch with me and basically said, look, he absolutely adores what you're doing. He's even got all the Mr. Men books, and he takes them around the house and he blue tacks them to the wall and wipes them down in the same way that I put my mosaics on and wipe them down to get rid of the excess grout and what. Yeah, so absolutely brilliant. And I met up with him as well for a photo shoot, social distancing, of course, and he was like made his year.
Fantastic, mate. It's a brilliant story, and all I can say is for the people of Southampton, they must be really happy that you're living there. I wish you lived near me. But listen, thanks for joining us, mate. It was a really good listening to you today. And what I'd like to do is, I'm not going to go guerrilla around your house and put stickers all over your house, but I would like to send you, because you were a star star interviewee. I would send you
Oh
my Carl's
yes,
Bearded Banter Golden Star, and you can have an iBeard TV sticker as well. I'll send that to you.
I'm going to look forward to getting those.
Fantastic, mate. Listen, again, thank you for joining us, mate. Have a good, and hopefully we'll hear some more of your stuff in the future when you do any more stuff. Let us know in the group or whatever, and maybe we could talk about that stuff then.
I will do. And if anybody wants me to post any more stuff in the group, I don't want to bombard it with like, "Hey, look how great I am." But if people are interested in my work, let me know, and I can I'll post stuff in the iBeard group, and
We'd love to see stuff in the group, of course.
It's about encouraging each other, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
We just need to be encouraging and showing our skills off, and saying,
well,
look,
that's it. It's a group for all of us, so we definitely want all the members. If you've got some skills or whatever, things like that, stick them in there. It's brilliant, and who doesn't like to see them as well, mate? Good art. It's fantastic. So,
all right. Thanks very much, Carl. I really appreciate you inviting me on. So thanks very much.
Thank you for joining me. It was nice talking to you, buddy. So I'll see you again soon, mate. Ta-da.
Will do. Take care, mate. Bye.
Toodles.